5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ten fruits, nuts, and vegetables you did not know were man-made. In all honesty, a portion of the famous natural products, nuts, and vegetables we eat today are man-made crossbreeds. They were made in research facilities through particular reproducing, a cycle whereby just plants with positive characteristics are replanted. All things considered, there have been uncommon examples where creepy crawlies were liable for making the mixture plants through cross-fertilization. Obviously, these creepy crawlies couldn't have ever had the option to cross-fertilize the plants if people hadn't planted in any event one of them in the zone. A large portion of the sections on this rundown are amazing in light of the fact that the greater part are organic products, nuts, and vegetables that we consider to be characteristic. Cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, kale, Brussels sprouts, collard greens, kohlrabi, and a few firmly related vegetables started from a similar plant-animal categories, Brassica oleracea. Its unique structure is known as wild mustard and still exists today. Around 2,500 years back, wild mustard just filled in certain pieces of Europe and the Mediterranean. Its taste shifted significantly relying upon where it developed. Old Romans and Greeks before long understood that they could plant it for food, so they occupied with specific reproducing by planting seeds from wild mustard with bigger leaves. The outcome was the vegetables that we presently call kale and collard greens. Specific rearing proceeded during the 1600s when individuals reproduced wild mustard with greater leaf buds. The outcome was another vegetable covered with bunches of leaves. This was the primary cabbage. Wild mustard chose for its greater stems became kohlrabi. The ones with little heads became Brussels sprouts, and the ones with enormous blossoms became broccoli and cauliflower. The hybridization of wild mustard and its subsidiaries proceeded up to the 20th century. In 1928, Russian researcher Georgy Dmitrievich Karpchenko crossed a radish with a cabbage to create what he called the rabbage. The rabbage should have been inconceivable in light of the fact that the radish isn't identified with the cabbage. Nonetheless, the plant never got on the grounds that it fizzled at being either a radish or a cabbage. Later in 1993, the Sakata Seed Company of Yokohama, Japan crossbred broccoli with kailan to make broccolini. Or as some call it, child broccoli, aspirations broccoletti, broccolette and Italian growing broccoli. It's a subsidiary of wild mustard and is the Chinese rendition of broccoli. Numerous assortments of the orange exist today. Notwithstanding, every assortment follows its underlying foundations to the man-made half and half when the pomelo was crossed with the mandarin. The pomelo is nearly as severe as the grapefruit, while the mandarin is sweet. The mandarin has an orange tone, which is the reason numerous individuals misidentify it as an assortment of the orange. Wrong. The mandarin is a predecessor of the orange. The historical backdrop of the orange is indistinct, however it is accepted to have first showed up in southern China. Throughout the long term, people have specifically reproduced oranges to make numerous assortments, making it simple to mistake the orange for other citrus organic products. Honestly, an organic product needs to have advanced from the pomelo and mandarin to be viewed as an orange. All things considered, the tangerine isn't viewed as an orange since it advanced from the mandarin yet not the pomelo. In any case, the tangelo, which we'll get to in no time, is in an ill-defined situation. It's a combination of a tangerine and a pomelo. Also, as we referenced as of now, the tangerine was made from the mandarin. The advanced nut is a mixture of two prior sorts of peanuts, the Arachis aparensis and the Arachis duranensis. The Arachis duranensis fills in the Andean valleys among Bolivia and Argentina, while the Arachis aparensis develops inside Bolivia. The two plants were found so distant from one another, they couldn't have crossbred normally. Analysts eventually found that the most punctual pioneers in South America took the Arachis duranensis from the Andean valleys as they moved into the present Bolivia 10,000 years back. Nonetheless, the pioneers didn't rapidly understand the capability of their new harvest, and it was the honeybees that really cross-pollinated the two peanuts. The outcome was another nut that is the precursor of the present peanut. The cutting-edge basic banana is a man-made mixture of the wild Musa acuminata and Musa balbisiana banana species. Musa acuminata has a meaty inside, yet it has an extremely unsavory taste. Musa balbisiana has a lovely tasting inside, however contains such a large number of seeds. The two bananas normally crossbred in the timberlands of South Asia. Be that as it may, the resultant banana, which is the progenitor of the cutting-edge banana, was sterile. Around 10,000 years prior, early people found the half and half and discovered that they could replant the shoots to make new trees. They occupied with particular rearing and just replanted bananas with great characteristics. This prompted the making of the advanced banana. Despite the fact that we figured out how to make the ideal banana, we were unable to sort out an approach to develop bananas from seeds. In this way, bananas will get wiped out in the event that we quit planting them. The non-appearance of a seed likewise implies that all bananas have similar hereditary properties as they are replanted from the shoot of another tree. Subsequently, all the world's banana trees could be cleared out by a solitary sickness. The almond is a man-made crossover of the wild almond, which is famously unpleasant and could be savage when burned through in extensive sums. The historical backdrop of the advanced almond is muddled. Researchers actually can't figure out which variation of the wild almond was specifically reproduced to make the cutting-edge almond. Researchers have their speculations, however. They presume that the wild progenitor of the almond is the Amygdalus fensliana, Fritsch, Lipsky, on the grounds that its trees, seeds, and natural products take after the cutting-edge almond. It's additionally found in Armenia and Azerbaijan, where the present almond is accepted to have been specifically reproduced by people. Other than the inception, researchers can't decide how our progenitors figured out how to make an ideal, sweet almond in light of the fact that the almond is toxic. The grapefruit is a generally new half and half. It's accepted, albeit not affirmed, that the grapefruit originally showed up around 1693 when Captain Shattuck moved Pomelo, Citrus maxima, seeds toward the West Indies and planted them near some orange trees. The pomelo and orange later cross-pollinated to make the grapefruit, at that point called Shaddix. Nonetheless, the grapefruit was as yet unclear external the Caribbean. Europeans ultimately learned of this citrus organic product in 1750 when Reverend Griffith Hughes experienced one. Hughes was so astonished with the disclosure that he named the grapefruit the prohibited natural product. That was its name until 1814 when John Lunan, a grower and Jamaica judge, considered it a grapefruit since they looked like the more modest and irrelevant grapes when they were all the while developing. The grapefruit at last arrived at the United States in 1823. However, was confused with the pomelo. It was simply resolved to be a particular organic product in 1837. Notwithstanding, botanists were as yet confounded about its root. It wasn't until 1948 that they found it was a crossbreed of the pomelo and the orange. The boysenberry was made by Rudolph Boysen of Orange County, California in 1923. Boysen, a horticulturist, planted joint berry plants on his in-laws' homestead in Anaheim, at last developing an effective crossover. Sadly, Boysen's berries never discovered business achievement, and it seemed like his remarkable plant would go the method of the dodo flying creature. Quite a while later, an individual rancher from California named Walter Knott caught wind of the berry and inquired as to whether he could attempt to make a big deal about it. Knott effectively resurrected the perishing crossbreed at his Buena Park, California ranch. Knott then named the natural product after Boysen. And Knott's berry farm in the end turned into the wood-popular entertainment mecca we know today. The boysenberry is viewed as a variation of the blackberry, in spite of the fact that it's really a half-breed of a blackberry and either the loganberry or the red raspberry. For all we know, Boysen might have made the berry from of every one of the three plants. All things considered, Terra claims that the boysenberry is really a cross between the eastern dewberry and the man-made loganberry. The loganberry was made in 1881 when James Logan crossed a raspberry with a wild blackberry. In any case, the early boysenberry was not a business accomplishment because of its short time span of usability. It rots only 2 days after reap. As we referenced before, the tangelo is a man-made mixture of the tangerine and the pomelo. Indeed, that is the place where the tangelo got its name. Be that as it may, it is regular for individuals to mistake the tangelo for the tangerine, mandarin, and orange. To add to the disarray, there are various assortments of tangelos, and all are not really made from tangerines and pomelos. One normal variation, the Mineola Tangelo, is a crossover of the tangerine and the Duncan grapefruit. Another variation was made by intersection a mandarin with a pomelo, which in fact makes it an orange. The tangelo is accepted to have first showed up in the woods of Southeast Asia 3,500 years prior, when creepy crawlies cross-pollinated the mandarin with the natural product that is firmly identified with the grapefruit. Nonetheless, the present tangelos are the after effect of a particular reproducing program that began during the 1800s. At the front line of the tangelo venture was the United States Department of Agriculture, USDA, which made the famous Mineola Tangelo sold across the United States. The USDA delivered the seeds of the Mineola Tangelo in 1931. It's named after the city of Mineola, Florida. Carrots haven't generally been orange. Common carrots were either white or purple and presumably unpalatable. There are even records that white carrots were eaten in the Roman Empire. However, antiquarians accept that they might have been parsnips, white carrots, or both. At last, the advanced orange carrot we eat today is a crossover of the yellow carrot, which is a half-breed of the white carrot. The most punctual known precursor of the cutting-edge consumable carrot showed up in Persia in the 10th century. A few records state it was white, and others state it was purple. In contrast to the present carrots, those vegetables had heaps of more modest underlying foundations of fluctuating sizes. The Persians specifically reared the carrots with the greatest roots to make greater roots and, at last, a major single root. As the specific rearing proceeded, the carrots transformed from white or purple to yellow and lastly orange. Particular rearing of carrots proceeded until current occasions to improve their flavor and seeding. The advanced strawberry is a man-made crossover of the more modest wild strawberry, which has a more limited time frame of realistic usability just as a superior flavor and fragrance. The advanced strawberry previously showed up in France in the 18th century. Notwithstanding, the hybridization program started significantly sooner. During the 1300s, French botanists began planting wild strawberries in their nurseries when they understood that wild strawberries repeated by cloning. Peculiarly, a few strawberries never delivered products of the soil of the ones that did out of nowhere quit cloning and making natural products after certain years. The French figured out how to make wild strawberries that were 15 to multiple times their ordinary size, yet they were still tiny. Antoine Nicolas Duchesne made the cutting-edge strawberry on July 6, 1764, when he crossed a male Fragaria moscata with a female Fragaria chiloensis from Chile. Before Duchesne made his strawberry, French botanists had never understood that strawberries had male and female parts. This was the explanation. Some never delivered natural products, as certain botanists had planted either guys or females. Duchesne kept dealing with the strawberry until the French Revolution, leaving American and British botanists to consummate the cutting-edge strawberry.